because I didn't want to record a video. Um, Actually, I already got home. I know from time to time I'll post a video and like, hey, here's the lesson of the day. Well, I got home. Welcome to my channel. I'm Sharina Walters, by the way. Um, I don't know. I was in the house and I was thinking to myself, the journey that I mentioned that I intentionally have been on, to heal me and my daughter's relationship. We are way better than where we was in 2016, and the reason behind me wanting to heal that relationship was, um I was 40 years old, and I was approaching the age group that my parents died. My daddy died at 41. My mom died at 46. And my dad was a year older than my mom. So I was, what, 23 when my dad died. I was 28 when my mom died. Both my parents, they were, when I was born, they were, addicted to drugs. I didn't know that. I just thought my mom drank a lot. And my dad was in and out of prison. Strangely, though, both my parents, even though it was more absence than presence, made me feel loved. My grandmother, my paternal grandmother, my mom's maternal grandmother, my mom's mother was primarily my caregiver for like 10 years of my life. My mom raised me for about 4. So when I was 14 years old, then I went and moved with my aunt after my grandmother passed. So there was a lot of, and then growing up poor, hoping that your parents come save you from, as a kid, as you feel like, hey, my life would be so much better if my parents was present. I wouldn't be going through, these things that I have to go through as a young kid. I started, washing clothes by hand at the age of 5, and I thank God for my grandmother for showing us, responsibilities at an early age. Me and my other 2 cousins was raised by my grandmother, the majority of our childhood, and we give her, thank God, we give God the glory, but we thank my grandmother so much for instilling, giving us chores, being hard on us, because it made us very resilient during hard times. It made us very resilient, period, in life. When things come up, we know how to persevere through difficult challenges. When my parents died, I just didn't realize, I didn't understand all the questions that I would have, all of the unresolved issues that I would have as an adult. And excuse me, y'all, if I get a little emotional, because Mother's Day is coming up. Standing over somebody's grave, asking questions, is what I refuse to have my daughter do. I just refuse. Sometimes as parents, we can be so selfish to not be more transparent with our kids. I know, especially in the Black community, it's like, stay in a child's place. What happened in my house, it's our business. I get that to a certain degree, but there are some key things that are missing when we do that. Our kids don't really understand, and we are so lost, and so when y'all are no longer here. So I don't have my mom and dad now as being older, at the age, I'm 49 now, but at 40, like I said, I decided to I was so afraid because my dad died at 41 that I wasn't gonna make it past 46. Like, my 40s was like so frightening. Right now, I'm good. Me and my daughter, we good. I pray to live a long life. I pray to live to when I'm in my hundreds. But excuse me, y'all. This video isn't even for me. It's for the mom out there, the dad out there who is really taking life for granted. The next second isn't promised. It's not. And you might say, Sharina, my kid is a butthole. They disrespect me. I've tried to repair the relationship, try to right wrong. You can't right wrong. All you can do is just explain it. I think our kids, not think, but I know that our kids really miss our presence. I was present, but wasn't present. Like, I wasn't an absentee mother. Physically, mentally, I was a lot of the time because I was looking for love. And the majority of the time I was, dang it, what is this? The majority of the time I am, I'm gonna move, y'all. I was, sorry about that, that's the sun. I gotta move this car. I was in like a toxic relationship, and I was just wondering, like, what he doing, where he at. My daughter can tell, like, we would have like 1, 2, 3 hour conversations, me and my daughter. And she said, Ma, I can tell that you just wasn't really there. Like, we just having a conversation, but it's like, and I knew I was just ready for it to kind of be over so I can just worry about this individual because I didn't know my worth, and I give grace to myself. I got counseling and healing and realized I was in that trauma bond type of situation. I take full accountability for not leaving sooner. This is not me beating up the individual. I'm just saying there's just a lot of other things that happen that I'm not going into, but my heart goes out to the parents that suffer and the kids that suffer because we're not willing to have the temporary uncomfortable conversations, the uncomfortable awkwardness that it would take to sit down and discuss, things that our kids observed, some of the things that we thought, oh, well, I didn't fight around my kid. I didn't, argue. Kids know, kids are smarter than what we think they are. And, to the kids' defense, they don't know to ask us questions like, hey, Mom, what happened to you? What was your childhood like? Daddy, what happened to you? What made you act this way? What made you act passive aggressive? What made you, emotionally absent? But you paid the bills and you took us, to the amusement parks. We went on vacations and we had big parties, but you still wasn't present in some ways. So what made you have this temper, this anger, when I attempted to have conversations with you? And they don't know to access that. Heck, do it most of the, we didn't even know most of the time unless you go to counseling, or you have some very wise friends or some very wise, colleagues or people that you might run into, or people who you trust that can give you that information. We just don't know what you just don't know. But as long as you have breath in your body, it's not too late. Don't be like me, where I was 11 years old and my dad was just in and out of prison, right? And he was like, every time he came out of prison, he would come and he'll come to my grandma's house. Now, both my grandmothers, for when I was first, when my mom and dad met, they stayed like 3 doors down from each other. So that periodically happened throughout my childhood because my dad's mom would move away. My mom's mother always stayed there until she passed away when I was 14. But my dad's mom, she would leave, rent somewhere else, come back to that same house, which was like, again, like 3 doors down from my mom's mother. And so he would go see his mom, my dad, and then he would, come by and see me. And my grandma, my mom's mother, would be like, you know, my little nickname that they call me. Hey, your daddy out there. We sit on the front porch, we talk, and he'll ask me how I'm doing. I didn't have, a bond with him like I now looking back in hindsight wish I would have. I was more kind of afraid to talk to him because I didn't know, not that he would hit me, but it was just like I don't know you like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm around your family, like I would be at his mom's house all the time. My aunts and uncles, they loved me, but I was mainly, at his sister's house, or mainly my grandmother's house, but I'll also be at his sister's. I knew my cousins. So it wasn't like, I wasn't a part of the family or had relationships with the family, but of course I was more closer to my mom's side of the family because my mom's mother raised me. And so he would tell me, baby, I ain't going back to prison no more, I'm gonna get my life together. He would write me. I hated writing. He used to get on me and say my penmanship was horrible. And I told him, I said, because I don't like writing. He was like, well, that's disrespectful. And those letters that he wrote me, I came across a few of them, and they just broke me down because I was like, you know what? I didn't realize that my father, that was his way of trying to have a relationship with me. Like whatever his demons were, that was his thing. And I didn't know not to judge this man at an early age. I don't know your backstory, but he don't know that I wrote him off at the age of 11. I was like, you know what? I'm done with you. I'm done. Like, I don't understand why you can't take care of me. At the time, I was the only child. I'm like, y'all both have one kid. Y'all can't take care of one kid. You can work at McDonald's and take care of a kid. And so I wrote him off at 11 years old. And he died when I was 23. But he came, I think the last time I seen my dad, I was 13. That was the last time I seen my dad. And so didn't find out that he had passed on until a month and a half after his death. We found out he passed away in prison. Horrible to pass away in prison alone. The family did not know. He died in May. We didn't find out. Matter of fact, his memorial come. So I got Mother's Day and my dad's memorial coming up in May. And but I'm okay. I know how to take care of Rena, and I do this because I tell my daughter, one day I ain't gonna be here. And when I tell you, after that funeral, all of the I'm here, people cooking for you, people calling you, all of a sudden it's crickets. And I say, I don't blame my family. I don't beat them up for, oh, they need to look after me. People have lives. Life truly goes on. Like, it's not that they don't care about their loved one, but they don't got time to be taking care of a grown person, even a younger person. Life just truly goes on. And I'm like, baby, when I'm in the ground, or if I get cremated, life gonna go on. And I need you to be able to go on. I don't need you to die with me. I need you to be able to go on too. So when memorials come for my dad, when Father's Day, Mother's Day, birthdays come, I might get sad or what have you, but I know how to manage it. But the hardest thing is just not physically having, now I know the questions to ask, right? And you just like, oh, I wish they were here. And I made a vow. And my mom died at 46. She got off drugs, man. My mom, man, she got her life together. She got her a job. She got her a place. My mom did her thing. She found out I was pregnant with my daughter Ivory, and she just made up in her mind, I'm done. I'm done with drugging and drinking. Cold turkey. Now, with the help of AA, I think she stayed there for probably about 2 to 3 months. They had an amazing program, which was away from Tampa. It was in Tarpon Springs. Me and my other two cousins would go visit her, and my cousins, who are like my sisters, Tab and Chet. I'm big and pregnant, going to go visit my mama, and I'm seeing her, and she seemed like a different person. Like, she wasn't belligerent, wild, um, on edge. She was just calm and cool and still funny. I always loved my mom, regardless, what she went through. I was just always hoping that she would get her life together during the time that I was, an adolescent, still in school, and she's able to take care of me. But things happen for a reason. I say, I went through what I went through so that I can be a better mother, or I can learn the lessons and then be able to show my daughter what hopefully a great version of better parenting looked like. And I still messed up. My addiction was to wanting to be loved by that relationship. I've been in several relationships, but it was that particular relationship that I was addicted to it. It is possible to be addicted to a person. And I just really intentionally just make sure that I went, did the counseling. I gave my daughter permission to respectfully ask me questions, because she got counseling as well. Hey, let's talk about your counseling session. If you want to come talk, I'm willing to be there and answer questions that you might have. Ask me while I am alive and blood is running through my veins. I don't need you over no urn, looking at my ashes, or over a freaking grave, bawling your eyes out, like just wishing and hoping you had a response from me. So that was 2016. We are in 2025. We're going on 9 years in June that it started. When I tell you, it has been ups and downs, and frustrations, and I almost said, you know what, I'm out. Like, basically leaving Tampa. Forget that. She grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody don't got time for all that. Man, this takes too much time. Because it's like, dang, I'm trying, but she had to go, because at the same time we're both still growing. Like, I'm healing from a past relationship. I'm getting healed, trying to heal childhood wounds. She's in starting her new, she's young adult. So now she's getting into a serious relationship. She's trying to learn that relationship and heal too. And it was pretty and then I had to learn. I became an empty nester. So now you just becoming an adult, and at first I wanted this control over her. So I had to learn how to let go of the control, which also really helped our relationship as well, and said, you know what, God, I give it back to you. I release the control. I'm not going to try to control this child's life. And when I decided to do that, it was like a big old burden off of my shoulder. And I just let things happen organically, naturally. I did not do any type of, guilty phone calls. Like, why you ain't calling me, or begging for anything. I let it happen naturally. We'll talk to each other. Now, for birthdays and even my mom's memorial and things like that, she was always considerate, which I really truly appreciate. And I told her, I said, it's not your responsibility to to go through some of the sadness at those days that I feel. And I do my best not to stay there, but she was like, "No, Mom, I'm here for you." And so I appreciate my daughter for that. But we have put in thousands of hours, so it does take a lot of work. I remember Ayanna, she would say, "You got to do the work." You got to do the work. to me, the greatest relationship you would have, other than a relationship with God and yourself, is, and whoever, your wife or partner is, or husband, is definitely with your kids. That's they're a part of you, you know. So to me, that's been my greatest, um, I would say, success, is being able to repair that relationship, so much so to where, we still talk for hours whenever we get to talk to each other. um it's so different than what it used to be. It's always been love there, but it happened organically, and it happened at its own pace. It wasn't rushed. And anytime we have still misunderstandings, we know how to better communicate, because along with that, answering those questions, along with the journey, it came, um, better communication, learning more emotional intelligence. Um, I give the suggestion for friends and family who lose their parents is, before they lose their parents, the advice that I want to give you, really before they even get sick, spend time with your parents, because the guilt of you didn't spend enough time with them when they asked, you were just being a little brat when they were doing their best to do their best to, like, connect with you. That is the thing that really just, like, stings, is that you did not take out the time to honor that wish. And there's a lot of, like, regret and shoulda, woulda, couldas, and you don't have that opportunity at that point. So, um before you leave, just, your child is worth it. Your child is definitely worth it. I mean, that's your legacy. I always knew and always felt, and I said it in my previous relationship, that I would be in the room with, like, successful people. I would be successful, um, and I would feel like a fraud if I could have these great relationships with these so-called great individuals, but don't have a great relationship with my daughter. Yeah, ain't gonna happen. So that was what drove me as well, is to make sure that, we have a better relationship than the people that I'm actually, that's not even blood. So that's me coming on, encouraging y'all. Sorry I got emotional in the beginning. It's just, I really hate the whole Mother's Day and Father's Day type of thing. I think that should be every day. Um, Something about April is where I start getting sad. And I was, for 2 years in a row, and actually this is like the third year, I'm like, what is up with April? So I'm just putting two and two together. I'm like, maybe it's because Mother's Day is next month, because I'm like, ain't nothing going on. What's the day? The day is the 14th. It could be some other stuff too. That's why I need to go ahead and just look up this counselor at the EAP that I'd actually open up a case on, to say, so I can start some, therapy, because we all have some suppressed things that we don't realize, that tie into our behavior as adults. We don't want to admit it. We don't even, sometimes we're not even aware of the fact that we do certain things because of childhood trauma, or just from our childhood. You don't even have to be trauma, just from our childhood, things that we can just kind of tweak. you know People be like, well, it's just the way that I am. Well, okay, you just don't want to grow. And that's, hey, more power to you. For me, I do want to grow, and I think we all should want to be better, right? We want to be the best versions of ourselves, I feel. um so I need to get me some counseling, uh just to help me be better, and figure out what is this April thing, because I was just in the house just laughing with my daughter grandmother and my daughter's cousin, and all of a sudden I'm in the bathroom back to ball. And no, I'm not on my period. I'm actually going off. And I know that's TMI, but that again, that it's like, what the heck? And I was like, oh, we're in April again. Just, I'm like, oh man, here we go. But when I get on here, it's me helping myself and just getting it out. But as I always say, if I can just reach one person and maybe this message speaks to you, I pray that it resonates with you. I pray that it helps you with whatever journey you need to start, or if you're already on the journey with repairing relationships with your parent or with your child or children, that this just lets you know, keep going. You can do it. It's 1 second at a time. Have some grace and mercy on yourself. God gives us grace and mercy. So please feel free to extend that to yourself, because we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We're not going to always get it right. But you got this. Can't nobody stop you but you. Nobody cares. It's sad, but it's the truth. But nobody cares and nobody comes to save you. You are responsible for you. You are responsible for your own happiness. Do what you have to do to make your world the best it can be. And you can do that. You really can. No matter what situation you might be in. And there might be some situations that you might be in that, you know, hey, Sharina, hey, blessings to you that you're able to get out of that situation soon. Just have the hope, have a plan, keep God first. Whoever your higher being is, for me, is God and Jesus Christ. Trust me, I would not be here today if it wasn't for God and Jesus. So whoever that might be for you, pray, believe, have faith, do the work. Do the work. I will continue to encourage you to do EAP if you work for an employer. There is coaching that you can go to mymentor.life, mymentor.life.com, I believe that's what it is, with Tony Gaskins, Gaskins. There are different coaches on there that might be able to help you in the meantime if you don't have insurance, that have lower rates. Some of them is as cheap as $25 an hour. Just to have somebody you can just talk to, and a third party. Sometimes getting that feedback from a third party does a world of difference for you and your mental. Journal. Take walks if you can walk. If you got a car, my car is, when I tell you this is my therapy room right here, before I go in the house, I sit in my car for a couple hours. Just I'm in Florida, so I'm not far from the beach, so I can go to the beach, be around and see some water. Do what you have to do for you that's legal and ethical to take care of your mental. All right. Thank you so much for watching my video. Again, sending virtual hugs to you. Love, blessings, peace and light. Take care. Thank you.